Welcome, one and all, to the Team Mystics Esports channel. We're here with the Timeless Broadcast Project, casting and bringing to you the Oblivione games today. First, starting off against Ataraxia. My name is K-Wag, bringing you the action here today with Geo. Oblivione had a pretty rough day yesterday, long day as well. 10 maps, 2 map 5s, scraping out 1 win, but just barely not able to take it home against yeah.
Yeah, it was a long series right after a long series played 10 total maps yesterday. It was incredible, and the match against it was so back and forth and competitive, but proved that their chaotic ways of playing is able to overpower EXO in those moments, and they snuck the win. And now it's going to be a double bell of EXO matches right here on their Twitch channel, where they'll be facing, first of all, Ataraxia, and then a little bit later Raspberry Racers, where it's really on EXO now to try and make up for the loss yesterday and try and save their spot on the standings.
Yeah, and these are two teams that, on the books, EXO are really, really favored over. Ataraxia has done pretty well. They're based off of a lot of Team Spain, but they're coming up from Open Division. They've done pretty well so far, but they have struggled in contenders. Their first 2 days, albeit with a tough schedule facing off against SR Peak Check and also Twisted Minds, you got to hand it to them. That's a pretty rough opening day schedule. But now they're jumping into EXO now, and they have to be looking for that first win in contenders, and it has to start on Ilios.
Yes, Ilios will be the first map, and it's that Mediterranean feeling, it's that summer feeling as this summer series continues. And yes, at Ataraxia, they're the newcomer on the block here in EMEA technically, but a lot of their players have a lot to prove, but tough competition for them. Oblivione, they finished second place in spring, and they're about 8th in the round robin right now. Ataraxia in spring, they finished second last, and in the round robin right now, they're still second last. So there's a lot of proving to be done for Ataraxia, and EXO, they're a team that are historically very good, and they have such a strong roster of players as well, that if Ataraxia is even able to take a map or two away from EXO, that in itself could be seen as a victory. But on Ilios, we're going to be seeing a lot of that Winston, Tracer, Sombra dive coming out from Ataraxia, whereas Oblivione taken to the sky yet again, and Maimon is just so comfortable on the Echo that you take it away from them and you're going to hear from them for sure.
Yeah, this Echo and countering out needs to be a big focus for Ataraxia, because if they can't, it's going to be really rough. There is already that Sombra found out and forced to translocate before the manual hack on the D.Va can really be followed up. Pressure coming in as these teams trying to poke out at each other with the D.Va with the Winston. Big flank coming in here on this Echo. Not going to dish out too much damage, but any amount of damage can charge up that really big duplicate, and just staying on this flank. Huge anti-nade coming out, hitting both the supports of Ataraxia. Diana's gonna fall, the Brig soon after, and all falling apart.
Yeah, Oblivione's composition wants to be playing that slower pace compared to Ataraxia, who want to be going in fast and fighting those hacks. And Oblivione, they're able to kind of drag these fights out, and it's enough for them to get the advantage here and get the first control. And you're absolutely right, the Echo should be a focus here, and finding a hack. They're able to hack that Echo and dive them down and just eliminate them off the board. It's a lot of pressure alleviated.
It is, because that Echo has so much power to get an early pick, coming up close to ult, getting so low, but getting healed up right away by this support line for EXO. There's the copy coming in onto the Tracer. Not a usual copy target, but they are rolling right through, just putting the pressure on, getting slapped. What a huge sweep there to take out the Echo, or take out the duplicate, I should say. Pulse Bomb coming out, going to find the pick onto the Winston, and EXO continue their streak.
Yeah, I mean, the DPS lineup are just going in so hard here, and they're just unrelenting. Ataraxia, they're basically kind of getting ran over sometimes when these fights are going long, and this EMP is the win condition now of Ataraxia, and you see the target, it's the Brig. They want to get this Brig down to try and make it so they can get this Ana.
And the hack gonna go in onto the Brig and immediately burst it down. The Sombra dishing out the damage that could be Ataraxia's moment here to come in and finally take this point. They will flip it over.
Yes, and they didn't need to use the EMP. Very smart, very cost-saving win for them. But just getting the hack and not needing the EMP means that they've got this EMP moving forward. As long as they can, you know, keep this ult rotation rolling, they can really bring their control up high.
Ooh, big pick onto the Ana. Loses actually their main support, their main amount of healing. The rally is going to come in. An interesting choice here to try and push back in. They think it's winnable, but the Winston says that we're gonna take this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the juggling prowess of these Winstons, it's gone a lot of eliminations in the past couple of days. It's what you want to be seeing from these, you know, tank lines going in hard. And again, Ataraxia, they didn't utilize these ultimates. They're being very smart, and this is going to bring us essentially to 99% if they're able to bring these out in a good rotation and not over expunge their ultimates in this next fight.
Yeah, that's the really big thing. You're looking for that EMP from Lauren, and it needs to be big. But the point is going to flip over to EXO with no real contention, it seems. The trade's coming out. Copy onto the Winston. And just pressure coming in. It's all going the way of Ataraxia.
Yeah, but losing that point there is going to slow things down. If you think about that, that's 10% off the board. We'd be up in the 90s right now. Lauren goes down, the EMP is not available.
That's huge. The Pulse Bomb comes in, it catches Natlox. That's absolutely disastrous for Ataraxia. They lose the point.
Yeah, and 90%, they don't have a lot of time to really restabilize here, and they've not used this EMP at all.
Yeah, the EMP is online, gets whip-shotted immediately. The overtime will start. For Ataraxia, they need this EMP to be big. It comes out, it gets the pick onto Vestol, but Vestol just gets nanoed to keep them up. The sleep comes in as well, negates a lot of the value, but you negate the value of the Diva, and you got the Echo on your back, and it's not looking good. EXO gonna take that first round, but not too shabby from Ataraxia.
Yeah, not too shabby at all, but they'd have a lot of higher percentage there and a lot more chance of winning if they didn't let that point swap. That was a very crucial moment there in that point where EXO basically meant that their next fight was just going to take it to overtime immediately, and Lauren was forced to use EMP in an inefficient manner, and as you said, the nano came out at that point. Perhaps maybe holding on to the EMP a bit too long, but on Ruins, seems like they are going to be fully changing up on both sides. That Rein versus the Ramatra, and the Ramatra has the advantage at the distance, of course, being able to use that primary fire. The Reinhardt only has the 2 fire strikes, but once you get up and close, the key element the Rein can use against the Ramatra is charge, and that's why I want to be seeing Helve utilize here, the charge to try and displace this Ramatra.
Yeah, I'm really interested in Ken on this Hanzo to see if they can really do well against Cookie. On the Ashe, this sniper duel is going to be really interesting to watch, as these two snipers are at the top of their game. Already has some information on the location of the Mei and the supports. Putting in the pressure, the Rein going in. This is the battle of the main tanks. There's a Nemesis form from the just now, enabling a lot of aggression, pushing in. Immortality Field has to come out from both of these teams early. They will get burst down. Bit of loading, and Lauren almost walls themselves off, it seems, which is a little bit too far forward, and finds themselves in Nail's crosshairs as it's traded out 3v3 now. Both these teams not willing to give in an inch, but eventually Health is going to go down. No, this amplification major is going to come in. It's going to be a quick flip of the point for Ataraxia, and they're going to eventually repel EXO.
A lot of that was down to both Baptiste players there really coming up large for their team. Obviously, Gala with that kind of more selfish window there, but it worked out. They got the elimination, and as well with Canale. But Canale's coming up to their own window, which is going to be one of the factors here in trying to securing the point.
The pick! Crispy gets the pick onto Lauren immediately. That's the May off the field. Canale using that window again, just amplifying those heals that the Baptiste is putting out, and it's a quick flip for EXO. They're going to take that right back.
Now, Lauren's a little head in the Blizzard game, but Crispy kind of equal in terms of that beat percentage where they can utilize that to try and save things if that Blizzard gets the value that the team of Ataraxia are looking for.
Yeah, I think crucially, though, is Vistola has this Annihilation, and if Natlux doesn't get the beat immediately, or very quickly, I should say, then it might be a bit scary there. Crispy going to use the beat first, not in response to any ult, but just to kind of keep it EXO up. But it will eventually run out, and there's the Annihilation, there's the ult, all coming in, and Ataraxia, a big fight. They will come out on top.
Yep. But again, another cheeky take there from Oblivione, and you know, the more that happens, the more like these percentages are going to add up eventually. But yeah, the Blizzard utilized right as the Annihilation came out really saved things for Ataraxia, who now are going to have a fairly free Shatter coming up, and there is not a whole much that can kind of prevent it other than the Immortality field from Canale.
Yeah, so it needs to be smart. Health is going to go down, get walled off, separated from their healers, and taken down. Ken's going to find a headshot to try and even the score, but losing that Rhyme, losing that Shadow that you said was so free in this upcoming fight is huge, and the point going to flip over at Oblivione immediately.
And back to the point that you made, it's the Hanzos that really made a difference there. Cookie swapping over there means that they have that burst damage to take down the tanks.
As Cookie's going to go down, but so will Health. Health again finding themselves getting taken out early as this Dragon Strike going to come through, trying to zone off the point, trying to get Ataraxia to control. They so desperately need to keep this first map going, to keep themselves from falling down low.
Lauren is coming up.
Just chasing in. Just chasing that Hanzo, not able to find the pick. Ken went so low, but able to stave off death. But the point has just been in Oblivione's favor this entire time. Canale's going to go down thanks to the amplification matrix and a shot from Ken, but with how much pressure that's there, good charge onto Vistola from Hell. Eventually the point's going to flip over, but Oblivione have so many ults coming in this next fight, and they only need one.
That is true, but Ataraxia, they can get a lot done from this Blizzard. We've seen that previously, and look at this positioning very aggressively, and it's going to put them in a great place for the Shatter.
Yeah, I like this positioning. Very few of Oblivione can really contest onto high ground. I mean, you wouldn't expect many of Ataraxia to contest on high ground, but they're on the high ground. Pretty much only the Hanzo can really take in. They can just kind of jump in, set themselves into a nice choke position whenever and wherever they should want it. And there's the Shatter to take out this Ramatra. The beat's gonna come in to keep them up. Last fight territory, 99 to 99. The point, you're flipping over. The overtime wave nearly burning down right there and there. Hell gonna get taken down by the Annihilation. And Natlock is gonna beat, but it's only for the supports. It just comes up a moment too late, a day late, $1 short, a map down for Ataraxia.
And when Oblivione are down, you can never really count them out, because not only are they such a strong combined squad, but as individuals, so many of the players are just classically able to pop off, such as Maimone or cookie on the Hanzo in those moments where things are not as clear. But like you said, Ataraxia, they didn't take that lying down. They took it to the fight, and it was very close on both those points.
Yeah, and that's the stuff you want to see. Even if this does end up being a 3-0, to make it competitive in the way that Control was, completely respectable for Ataraxia. This is the runner-up team for the spring series. This is
Yeah.
quite the test. To even take a map off of these guys would be a badge of honor, but there's still many maps to go. This is not a done deal whatsoever. And with how close some of those points were, we might see something interesting happen. We
Yeah.
really had like our preconceived notions of, come on, it's EXO. They're coming in, they're the runner up, and they're facing a team that just came from open division.
Yeah.
Bring out the blowout material. But I don't
Mhm.
think that that's what's going to happen. If anything, I think we're going to have a pretty nice and close match, and it's going to get into our second map, which is going to be Ataraxia's choice. What do you think they're going to be looking for?
Well, they did seem to have a little bit more trouble when it was, that kind of dive against dive where Oblivione went for more of that kind of diva style with that kind of slower pace. But when you're playing that rematcher, they seemed to play quite well against it with that Reinhardt. Their health style of playing with the Reinhardt. I mean, yeah, they got caught out a few times with the Hanzo, but if they can find a way of trying to bait that wall a bit better and not get cut off from their healers, then that one adaptation could really change things. But no, they are actually going to go for Numbani, and again, you're thinking in terms of how the team's going to play this. You imagine from what you saw EXO do on Ilios that they might bring out the diva again here on defense at the very least. But I'm a big fan of playing the monkey on defense anyway. Just nice, fast composition that can go in hard and come out fast. Combine that with an Ashe that can follow up on that damage, then you have a very strong setup, and that's what a lot of teams go for on the likes of Nimbani. And yeah, Ataraxia, they're still fighting their footing as the relative newcomer in EMEA contenders, but that sort of level, when you think about that mentally, when you have a lot to prove and you've proven yourself in other elements like the World Cup and playing for Spain, then there's a lot of heart, a lot of passion in trying to take a map from, like you said, the runners up. But Ataraxia on the defense are coming out on Orisa. So that's a very risky play, and playing your Orisa on the high ground means that you will be able to really control any tanks trying to take that high ground. But if that Orisa falls off the high ground, it pretty much means that you can completely ignore the Orisa and just go for everyone else, and Orisa has very little impact. This is a very high risk, high reward type style from Ataraxia, and we'll see how Oblivione adapted this. But against Maimon, who now has a pocket, it's gonna be very tough for Helve.
Yeah, Helve has to be on top of their game for this map. Like you said, the Orisa is a tough to play on the really intense high ground of Numbani. We'll have to see what their plan is as Maimon over on the side. In some pressure as the other forces of EXO start to push in. Javelin spin coming out, but the anti-nade is right onto that Orisa. Putting in the pressure, putting in the damage, charging up these ults relatively quickly. 2 headshots. Really great. Taking out that Ashe on the side of Ataraxia. Really amazing. Pushing in now, and just again, the pressure coming out from this EXO squad.
Oh, but they've just lost that Ashe, and things are going to look tough now. They don't have that damage follow up.
No, they don't, and they do have the opportunity to recontest here. The damage is pretty low. They take out the Diva, and a really big turnaround.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, ultimately, when you're playing the Sarissa, if you're not on high ground, then you're just at disadvantage, and that's why EXO were just able to walk onto this core high ground and pretty much take it for free and set up Cookie on the Ash. Now it's the other high ground they recognize as free, and immediately that's the way that EXO are playing.
There's a Kitsune rush to allow this aggression from Ataraxia. They're pushing in, they're dealing so much damage, but the Orisa health goes in too deep, too aggressive, and they're going to be punished for that hubris. Bob coming in from Ken, trying to hold down this position. It's going to get bursted down almost immediately. EXO, they don't have a lot of ults left in the bank. There still is this copy coming out from Oren on that Echo, but they're just gonna get taken out immediately, bursted into this Baby Diva form, which is, it's the rough side of hopping into Baby Diva. There's the Terra Surge dishing out the damage, but immediately taken out. But the picks are overwhelming for EXO. The Diva Bomb going to come in the back. Bastola not able to find any picks off of it, but they're going to take out Natlocks, eventually getting kept this pull away.
I'm really, really impressed with Lauren's play so far. Able to get those duels with Maymon, who is a very classically good Echo, and still win those duels, but they go down here.
Yeah, taken out by Canale with a great placed shot. Resurrection's gonna come in onto Lauren, but a really devastating pick onto Natlocks. Gala cannot go down here. If they go down here, it's all over, but the payload is going to be unlocked by EXO, and they will eventually dispatch Ataraxia.
Yeah, and Ataraxia didn't make it easy. There was many times there where you thought Oblivione may have had that point, but the re-engage from Ataraxia was so strong, and I got cut off last time, but Lauren is playing so well into the likes of Maymon, who is a star player not only for EXO, but for Team GB and further afield. And to step up to the plate here is incredible for Ataraxia to have that sort of Echo play. Sticking to the Orisa, I'm still not a massive fan of the Orisa. I will say I just think that they struggle in controlling a map like Numbani.
Yeah, Hell's gonna get hacked. It's going to have a lot of pressure on them with that increased damage. But there's the Kitsune Rush comes in, just really zoning away and letting Ataraxia get a lot of map control, but the anti-nade from Canale is gonna kick out. He's gonna take them down. Lauren will soon fall, gonna get taken down by Maymon on that Echo, who is just dishing out the damage, and everyone's here taking a plate.
Yeah, and Vistola knows that they can be kind of aggressive as the Diva and not really get too hard affected by the CC of the likes of the Orisa because of that Diva Matrix just eating up a lot of that damage. Oblivione now kind of swinging into third point, and they have a plethora of ultimates. They even have the EMP coming up, and they basically have all of these to choose from as Bob comes out from Ataraxia.
Yeah, the Bob from Ataraxia is going to be a difficult one to work around. Lauren's going to be the first to fall, though, and Bob's is going to get hacked out of LOS from Cookie and bursted down. They just can completely ignore it, and they can push right to spawn and just shut down the entirety of EXO. The copy's going to come in from Lauren onto the Diva, just trying to dish out some damage and trying to keep this, get some space for Ataraxia, give them some room to breathe, as Natlock is just going to get caught out by Maymon on that Echo, and even the Orisa. The copy going to come in from Maymon onto the Orisa, but it looked close, it looked good for a bit, but with 2 minutes 16 on the clock, EXO have a great attack.
Yeah, they really kind of stepped up from their kind of unsteady start on point one, but a 2-minute time back on Numbani is incredible, especially in a matchup like this. And maybe Ataraxia took a little too long to adapt to how EXO were playing there, where EXO were just, once we were away from that point one, EXO just ran over Ataraxia, even with the Diva. And I think the reason why they kept the Diva and didn't swap the likes of Winston is because Winston does get kind of very countered by the Orisa a lot more so than the likes of the Diva. But Ataraxia now looking to go for more of that dive. It's the same composition that we saw EXO have on their attack, and they're going to go for Vistola, keeping with the Diva, and I think that's a good choice so far. That slower playstyle has really worked against Ataraxia, even when they put the pedal to the metal.
It has. I do like the switch up onto the Winston. The Orisa did seem to be a bit of a struggle. As like you said, you really have to pick exactly where and when you play.
Well, let's see if Ataraxia can get a bit of a quicker attack on first point than EXO did previously. Lauren got a lot done on the Echo on defense. Now let's see, as they're on the offense now, if they can keep that aggro up.
Yeah, already looking for that first dive in. These Anas have to be so careful and so worried going in onto this corner. First pick gonna come in onto Cookie. They need to prevent the rest, but they can't. Crispy is there to immediately shut it down, but that's a big piece of utility gone off the field that Ataraxia has that EXO does not. Again, Cookie just getting taken down, getting sent back to spawn once more, but Health again getting burst down. Amon burst as well, but there's the resurrection, taking Helv back into the fight. They're all 5 on the point, and they're gonna have a quick first point take. They're gonna have a lot of time on this time bank.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure on Vistola there, and they couldn't really get that retouch in. They couldn't confirm it, and so far, just a pure amount of damage getting outputted here by this Ash Tracer and Ataraxia. EXO's DPS, they are struggling sometimes, it would seem, on this DPS to keep up against the aggressive plays right now from Ataraxia, who are playing that much faster because of the Winston.
And now they've got the ult. That's a big anti-nade coming in from Canale. It's gonna burst down, and no one can do a darn thing about it. The Bob's gonna come in. So many ults used in this fight, but they can't find anything for it. It's going to be a big loss there for Ataraxia. Oh, they take down Crispy.
Yeah, they take Crispy down. Needs to be a bomb for the remake for Vistola, but still that healing is a little bit lower now for Oblivione. They're backing up. They still have this Valkyrie if Crispy wants to get back fast.
I mean, they have to back up. That fight was so close to the spawn that once they lost their Mercy, they knew they would get absolutely taken apart if they couldn't keep, if they tried to stay. Big eat onto the sticky bombs, just denying the value from Laura and trying to chart up this ultimate to the next fight.
Yeah, and Cookie's gonna have this Bob as well to contest the point if they, decide to go deep and not want to contest it themselves. Comes out.
Yeah, Bob coming out. Ken's gonna get burst down. Vistola though gonna get demeched and cooked immediately, just fried by hell with that Tesla cannon. Mercy using the Valkyries, just putting out the heals, but Cal's gonna go down. That's a big healer loss for Ataraxia, and with the nano coming in onto Maymon, I mean, you can't do any better than that.
Yeah, because EXO know that they really need to get this time bank down as much as they can, especially on the second point. And the Diva setup's really working well on the second point in terms of counteracting what Helv wants to get done. But now with Helv, with this Primal Rage and a Nano to boot, of course the Nano could go into Lauren because they've been popping off, but you know that Helv's coming in deep right now.
Yeah, and this is where you might see a big commitment of ults because of how far this is from spawn for Ataraxia. They need to get this fight won. Lauren gonna copy the Ana and get taken down, but the Ana of EXO is gonna get burst down. It's close. Big pick onto the Mercy as well. Health just jumps in and takes out both the supports. Gone for EXO. They need to keep it going. Vastola is going to get taken down, and it will be a second point capture for Ataraxia. They've got about 3 minutes on this clock.
Yeah, Natlox wanted to get involved with the action there, took the Glock out to get the baby Diva down. That'll be nice to pad the stats. Ooh, Ken finding Cookie. That's going to destabilize the defense and potentially create a same scenario that we saw last time, but reversed.
Yeah, as they can just push in so aggressively. They have the opportunity to be at around the same time that EXO had, but they used a lot of ults getting into it. So now again, just pressuring out this Echo, trying to find those opening picks that are so crucial here. As now this corner is going to round up, start that first fight. There's the Nano coming in onto the Echo. Bomb has to be used. They're going to drop it down. They're going to get the pick onto Hell. Going to just push it off the corner. I remember when those clips were going all around Reddit too. And it's going to be a rough time as the bomb's going to get thrown in a bit late, but the pick's actually coming through for Ataraxia, so they'll have some recontest.
It's a great position for the Bob. It's denying that attack, and Health takes a lot of damage going in.
They can take it down with the dynamite! Oh, that's brutal. That is
brutal. And that's going to be a core reset now, surely. Oh, but the Reds again gets off.
Oh, but Natlux gives their life for it. It is worth because it's the tank, but they're just going to get taken out and staggered out. You just fed them a bit more ult charge and a lot less time for Ataraxia.
A good hold for ex-Oblivione there, and that Bob placement was great. Like I said, it cut them off and basically allowed EXO that time to breathe. And now Ataraxia are going to be coming in deep with this nano boost, probably. Wait, did I just go to the Mercy?
They just nanoed the Mercy. Oh no! Oh no! Gala just nanoed the Mercy, but it doesn't matter. Ken's popping. They took out Canal. They took out Cookie. They've got their chance. Maimon copies the Mercy, uses the Valkyrie, double support ult, and nearly getting to triple support ult, going back and forth. Rally coming out from Lauren, who's just swinging that mace in an enclosed space. Health's gonna get resurrected. Vastola trying to dish out this damage. They've got the nano. Health goes low. They're gonna jump in. The bomb is used in a tight corridor, just not gonna get any value. Lag gets a big ante onto both supports of EXO, but can't find the follow-up, and it's again just a pullback for Ataraxia.
I mean, that was a solid attempt there from Ataraxia, and I do actually think that nanoing the Mercy there, if you thought your Mercy was going to go down, was a good call because you won that pocket for the Ashe. Gala, however, has caught me moans, maybe overextending, but that sleep from Kunail was across the map. And we're below a minute right now, 40 seconds for Atraxia's map pick, but look at the aggression that EXO are having. They're all the way up to their spawn at times.
Yeah, and they know it's the same idea as trying to close hold on an escort map. They know if they lose that close hold spawn, they're gonna have another fight, and they're gonna get a guaranteed overtime. In fact, there's no way Ataraxia can win this now. They're going to, if they finish in overtime, they can only hope for the draw. They have to finish this. If they don't, they're gonna go down 2-0. Nano coming in onto Vastola. All the ults are coming up for EXO. All is stacked against Ataraxia. They need something huge here. And with health going down, it's gonna need to be even bigger. Maimon copying that Winston, the bomb coming in, copied from Lauren, but the picks are coming in. It's back and forth. Ken goes low, gonna get taken out. And Hell, the last hope. First down, the overtime wick burns out. And EXO go to match point.
Well, Atraxia, they may have had the better first point attack and defense, but for the rest of the map, EXO just bled them dry of time, just bringing that massive time back all the way down. Look, this is the point where they go so deep all the way up to their spawn. Yes, they didn't have to back up from this, but still, that just shows that EXO, they're not scared to go that aggressive, even with the Diva comp compared to the Winston composition. They'll still go in quick if they can sense that there's blood in the water. And the main thing there was Atraxia did not make that easy, right? And EXO were really forced to play um, around the fact that the DPS of Atraxia were really popping off. And also, I do want to say, Natlox on the Mercy was actually getting a lot done. Like, some of those reses were big, yet there was the one where that was traded out, and it kind of fed the ult charge. But overall, and a great play from the Mercy player and trying to keep the attacks going. It just didn't quite work. They were losing their support line too much, and it was just too much pressure and damage for them.
Yeah, and the one thing I also want to point out is that when EXO went in aggressive, that was about the time that they were the most disadvantaged. They were the most sort of behind in terms of the time bank because they struggled a little bit coming in onto the attack of first point. But even when it seemed like they were a bit on the back foot, they were still willing to push in, go aggressive, push to spawn, push past spawn, honestly, coming in like its first point. And that just shows you how this team plays. They play hard, they go fast.
Yeah, and we knew ex Oblivione were not going to be taking the loss against Oh Yes sitting down. We knew that they were coming into today with maybe a chip on their shoulder, having taken that loss and knowing that they were going to come back harder than ever and try and save their standings because they are currently still eighth, and well, they're not a eighth place team. They came in second place in the spring, and they still have a lot of those. They have the entire roster from spring still, and then adding on Chris and another support as well. So I mean, Ex Oblivione can only get better, but yeah, you can feel it. Ataraxia are still going to find the food. They're trying this kind of Arisa composition, which, yeah, it's a little bit of that EU cookiness, right? But it didn't quite work out this time. The EU cookiness did not win. The chaos was subsided by the Order of Oblivion.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really, really rough. I mean, coming in now to your last map pick for Ataraxia, I asked this before our second map, and I'm going to ask it again. What do they do to turn it around here? Where are they going to go on Escort to really show us that they have something more in them, that the Vanguard is not beat yet?
Yeah. You definitely probably want to avoid Dorado. You're not likely to go to Gibraltar because those are kind of similar map types to Numbani, where it's very high ground oriented, and you've just kind of learned that that doesn't quite work against Oblivione. You're probably looking for either route or circuit to go in for, those kind of long sight lines, and it will be Circuit Royale. And this is great because then you get to play into your DPS, who are really getting a lot done as well. So you get to bring out the Hanzo, you get to even bring out a pocketed Ash if you want. There's lots of opportunities here for your DPS to kind of shine. They just need the space to. And if you come out with the Orisa again, it's a bit more likely that you'll get value with it, but of course you're looking for the Sigmas here. You're looking to give that shield, to give your DPS the edge in those duels when they happen.
Yeah, you have also seen, I was going to say the Ramatra come out.
Oh?
I mean, yeah, you've seen sometimes the Ramatra come out, which I do get trying to hold close, but
Ataraxia have the most
full rush.
Yeah, they have the most EU composition you can imagine. And there's a little rubber ducky there to remind you, it's the rubber duck of the summer series. But yeah, it's EMEA, so you're expecting more rush, and yeah, it's a close hold. Why not go for it? I've seen teams be able to hold enough that the payload doesn't even move. Ataraxia, they're looking to do that, but of course, Maimon on the Sombra is going to be looking for those out of position players to disrupt them and try and get those key eliminations.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for, is key eliminations. Any pick onto the side of Ataraxia is going to be an absolute devastating blow. And already they're kind of being forced to pull back. Ryan has to charge away, but there's a few players still kind of left in no man's land there. Are they going to be able to get out is my question. As they're a bit behind enemy lines, but the pick comes through on Viana. And there's a trade out, but Helv's going to lose that tank duel. And the Ramatra is going to feel free to flex.
Yeah, when you close hold, you are basically preparing to lose that first fight, because what the close hold gives you is bringing that time back down and then being able to come back in with another fight. And as they storm in, you're looking for the Mei to really control on the point, try and wall off this Ramatra from their Zenyatta and Ana, and try and let your Reinhardt just charge in and get the damage needed.
Yeah, and there you go. That's the charge in. That's the pick on the Ana. That's the pick on the Zen. It's even up, though. 3v3, big charge. Gonna take us there. And scrappy fight on the point. Still not really going one way or the other. As Helv on this Ryan going to back up. It's 2v2. Just backing around this corner.
No. Oh, that's a big elimination. That's going to stagger them heavily. But you see Maimon, like a gargoyle perched, waiting for this EMP to demolish the retouch of Ataraxia.
There's the amplification matrix, and there's the EMP. Immediately bursted down is held. The damage increase, and the hack was too much. And point A is going to be going to EXO.
Yeah, Maimon just EMPing the amplification matrix. It's the ultimate that gets a lot of value. So just getting that off the board while also EMPing the front line, a perfect placement. Ataraxia, they want to try and hold control of this high ground.
Oh, big pig onto the Ana. As the Haxon come in, Ken trying to land that headshot onto the Sombra, not going to find that pick. There's the annihilation from EXO, just shutting them down. Terrifying stuff from Vestola.
Yeah, Vestola able to change the tide of that one. Ataraxia were fighting hard and fast because you want to try and get control of this high ground as soon as possible, because a brawl composition's weakest in rotation, and Oblivione don't have a Lucio, so catching them in those areas where you've got the high ground need to walk towards you, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. However, Oblivione, they know that. They're pushing up very far here, trying to not let Ataraxia get through the stroke.
Ken's going to land the pick onto Cookie. Switch onto this Tracer, did Ken. And with a good fire strike, that'll seal the deal. And they're going to try and get that stagger onto Vestola. Good stuff.
Yeah, and the stagger is everything. They're even looking for even more there, but maybe realizing that Cookie's back on the Hanzo, don't want to give an opportunity. And now Maimon is at another EMP soon, 10% off. And that's going to be the key engage here for Oblivione as they're getting it. Might even wait for Ataraxia to be the ones to aggress and then EMP them once they're in.
Yeah, it's a scary ult to try and deal with. But Gal's going to get taken out immediately. The EMP comes in. It's going to get matlocked on this Lucio, but Alex is going to be able to survive through some sick moves and some good skating, bro. Pushing forward. Interesting stuff there as the Nano's going to come through. There's the annihilation, putting the pressure onto the Ataraxia members. They're again going to pop that Nemesis form, trying to dish out the damage. interesting choice there from Bestola when they got walled up by Lauren. They pushed forward instead of trying to push back to their team. But there's the nano onto Helv, dishing out the damage onto this Ramattra. That Ramattra goes so low, but Bestola stays alive, and Helv is caught in no man's land. Big pin, and oh, that's just BM. That's just BM Helv taking out Bestola with that scatter.
The Goomba Stomp, I called that one. El Continue Earth comes out, they're not letting go of this, but maybe they should have.
Yeah, maybe. They're getting staggered out here, and with how far away this is from their spawns and how difficult it is to push up, they really can't afford to have that these staggers come through, especially with the pulse bomb landing onto Crispy, and Canale does not have that, does not have the Suzu to keep them up. Helv, though, gonna go down some intense target focus going through. The chance is there. The pulse bomb is up for Mamo. Natlux has to use the beat to keep them alive. But Gals is gonna go down thanks to a great stick from Mamo. And they're not just an Echo one trick. They can do some great things. But with how close these spawns are, again, the trades just aren't enough. EXO double kill fire strike for Helv. 2 HP. 2 kills.
Helv loves living in the 2 HP realm. Time and time again, they'll be below 10. 16 minutes, we're below 30. It's going to be panic mode for EXO if they want to try and get this into third point. They're pushing into a Nano, they're pushing into a Blizzard. This is not going to look good for EXO here, unless this Dragon can find key eliminations.
Yeah, they need something big. The pulse bomb's gonna get thrown out. There's a nano onto Helv. They're free to swing as they please. Can anyone touch? Oh, they just barely are able to touch. Amon's gonna be the first to fall. All the ults are there, and the picks are coming as well. And Ataraxia make a great stop for onto EXO. They have their golden box of victory, and if they want that map to continue, they have their goal.
Yeah, incredible stuff from Ataraxia. May this be the map that we've talked about. You know, if Ataraxia are able to take a map from EXO, it's huge for them. Is this that map? Because it's very much close to that being the case. Part of that was just Ataraxia's brawl composition just had that Lucio and were able to play a little faster in those moments. But even in times where Ataraxia lost both their supports first, Gala was on that high ground in the back left, and so was Natlox. They solo EMP'd Natlox and wiped out the complete support line. But Helv was able to adapt their play style and play to try and, you know, emphasize what the DPS were able to get. They were able to get a good wall and charge, and it's that combination of Lauren and Helv that are getting a lot of the key eliminations and the key controlling of the map. Lauren is just walling them off as much as possible, and that's a situation where you have a Mei and the opponents don't, and it just means that you get to wall them off and they really don't have a response, and you don't have to worry about that. EXO, though, they're like, yeah, we'll go for a close hold as well. Why not, you know? And they're going to come out this time with the Mei, with the Lucio, for that speed that they were lacking last time.
Ataraxia rolling out that left side door, ready to do some poking and try and push in onto EXO. They have their chance. They know what they got to do. Just push basically to point B, and they can get themselves a map to try and start this series back up again. As again, this aggression going to force Oblivione behind the wall and pushing forward. This is the aggression you want to see. Gala, though, gonna be the first to go down. The Baptiste just gonna get caught out thanks to the Sojourn. And a clean fight gonna be going the way of EXO.
And because they've put Crispy now on the Lucio, they can back off from the fights there. Ataraxia maybe used a few too many of their own resources getting to Oblivione, and once they backed up, they created this kill box where Cookie can just fire off with that railgun and find those eliminations like we saw.
Now pushing in again. Crispy, though, going to be the first to fall. Maimon is low. That loses them their ability to run away. Big wall coming in onto Vestola. Vestola barely able to stay alive, but somehow Health is the first to fall. That tank is not going to... That Ramatra just could not die.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference, right? When you are in Nemesis form and you're blocking, you just have so much survivability, especially being pocketed by a Baptiste, but it's all the way running back now for EXO. As Ataraxia, they smell blood in the water, they're storming forward here. Now, Lauren has Blizzard way before Maimon does right now, so Lauren's going to be able to surprise EXO with that ult.
Yeah, Ken throwing out the Dragon Strike. Health goes very low. There's the Blizzard walking right in. No one's going to get caught, but it is going to be a big zone. There's the Annihilation from Vestola. Are they going to be able to properly kite it out? It's pushed in aggressively, but they're just blocking and pushing it forward, and they're going to take out everyone.
Yeah, Lauren didn't quite get the placement that they were looking for on that one, and it just meant that EXO were able to walk out of it. Now it's completely swapped on its head. Ataraxia are up against a lot of these key ults of EXO, especially Kiki with the Overclock, who with their base kit is already finding so much value, and it's part of the reason why Ken is on Cassidy.
The Shatter from Health goes wide. It doesn't get anyone in it. And that's a huge ult. Ataraxia gone. The Immortality Field is going to get burst down early. There's the Amplification Matrix, really good, catching a lot of sight lines. And the Blizzard from Maimon catches two, catches Ken, catches Health. But Chrissy's going to be the one to fall. Going in a bit too aggressive on that Frog. The beat's going to come out, going to allow some really aggressive plays as Sojourn jumping in with the railgun, but they will be the ones finding themselves getting shot.
Great leadership from Helv there, who in that kind of tough fight identified that Vestola was isolated there from the rest of the team and just charged in. And that charge, like I've mentioned before, is the key difference between a Ramatra and a Reinhardt.
Lauren on the back on this May, using that really, really good left click to just put a lot of pressure on, and Gala on that Baptiste going to clean up. And that's first checkpoint. They are closer and closer every moment.
Yeah, and you see it there, folks. That is the goal that Ataraxia need to hit, and they have 2 minutes for it to do it, and they're not given space freely. Ken's got a high noon as well, so they could utilize this to slow down EXO and get as much space as they need. And Helv, you know, the last shatter didn't work out. You know there's a chip in that shoulder. They want to get a good shatter here.
Yeah, there's a high noon coming out from Ken. The Amplification Matrix as well. They just have to get out of dodge. A really aggressive combo of ults, and they need to win the fight off of this because a lot of value was lost on those ults. The Shatter's gonna come in huge onto two, but the beats there. Crispy's keeping them up, and EXO will have their day.
Yeah, you know, you did get two of the shatter, but of course with that beat ready, you know, Lucio's one of the characters that you're really trying to get. But it's hard because they're pesky and they can climb walls. Ataraxia seem to be swapping things up, yeah, completely here, going for a dive. Now it's all about getting that single elimination, getting that hack off and collapsing on them. If you hack the Mei, you can get elimination on them quite quickly. Oh, Crispy!
Oh, that was an aggressive attempt there from Crispy. Crispy tried to finish off Lauren. Lauren was very low, but they got the heals off in time, and Crispy went in just a moment too late, trying very aggressively to take down. And you use so much with the blizzards there. Maimon, though, going to go down. Vestola has this Annihilation ready and raring to use it because he has their ult as well. There's not many ults on the side of Ataraxia. They're not going to even need to use it.
Yeah. Maimon's now swapped off to the Tracer. No need for the wall now. That's going to help them with those off angles.
Oh, the pulse bomb doesn't go through. Ken goes down. That's really bad. You get to pick on the cookie, though. That's a good, even trade. Great scoop to keep Hell from getting as much value as they might have wanted with that Nano. Gal gonna go down, just pushing forward. The Tracer of EXO going to go low. Maimon is so low. These picks need to be huge. There's the EMP. It's gonna get this Ramatra. The Ramatra is gonna go down. Warren EMP just takes them out. Ken gets that final blow. It's going to be close here. One fight to decide it. Ataraxia, will they continue or will it be all over? Nail has that amplification matrix, dishing out the healing. Helv is the first to fall. The beat comes in. Natlock soon after. It was so close. Absolutely by an inch, by a hair. But Ex Oblivione, they will not dissolve again into that naive infinity of Crystal Oblivion. They push forward with a great 3-0.
And I just want to talk about how close that fight was. Helv was 3% away from the Primal Rage to keep themselves alive. If they had got that Primal Rage, they could have controlled the fight and even pushed them off the point to secure it. But just eliminated in time. An incredible performance from Ataraxia there to try and get the blood from the stone that is Oblivione, but there is no blood to be had. Oblivione, they are the ones storming forward today, and they are starting this double bill off with a 3-0. It's clean, but it almost wasn't.
I mean, that's what you want. If you're Ex Oblivione, you really needed a solid 3-0 victory to get you out of the 3-2 blues that we had yesterday. Because 10 maps of Overwatch in a day at a contenders level is pretty rough. It's a lot to play. So I'm glad that they're able to start today off with a little bit of a quicker match than perhaps they had yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure the players may have some time to breathe now. You know, it's not another tooth and nail match, right? So we're gonna go to a bit of a brief break, but after that break, we're gonna have an interview with Chase from EXO before we head into the next match, which is going to be Ex Oblivione again up against the Raspberry Racers. Don't go anywhere, folks, and we'll hear from Chase.
And we're back with an interview from the victorious team, from the home team. We have Chase Torch from Ex Oblivione. Chase Torch, thank you so much for joining us on the stream today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for joining us. It has to feel really amazing to come in onto the onto your own team's stream of your contenders match and come away with a solid victory. How was that for you guys?
Yeah, I think it was great for my team. Me personally, I wasn't even watching. It was just obvious win, to be honest. But yeah, I just believed so. It's nothing unexpected, honestly.
Great. My first question is actually a bit about yesterday's matches. You guys had two 5 map matches back to back, and you actually lost out to All Yeah. Were you expecting All Yeah to give you guys that much of a fight, or was that something that kind of shocked you?
Honestly, no. I mean, we didn't expect them to actually put up a fight or anything or be even competitive. Because like me personally, I thought we were gonna play Vistola every map because like off tank is just so good against like one trick team like that. But apparently, I played. I mean, I kinda entered my map and then just whatever happened, unlucky. Just Kaya too good with the Junkrat character.
All right. Well, your next match is up against Raspberry Racers. Have you guys scouted them? How are you feeling about Raspberry Racers?
Yeah, we did scout, but I think it's gonna be tough. But I think it's a win for us again. I don't know what map score will it be, but I'm pretty confident we can handle it. Honestly.
Nice confidence.
Yep.
Yeah, and one more question, then we'll let you go back to your team. While you're on the stream, is there anyone that you would like to shout out or thank? I know uh, we're not on the main contender stream, but we're still on stream. If there's anyone you'd like to shout out,
Yeah, I
floor is
do.
yours.
I do want to shout out my homies SR Insurance Company, the Holy Peaks SR Insurance Company. Very good. Very good.
Nice. Well, thank you for coming along. Appreciate it, and good luck in your next match.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Anytime.
All right. Let's take a look at what we've seen. I mean, EXO taking it 3-0 over Ataraxia, and then we're going to be moving on to Raspberry Racers versus Ex Oblivione again. And that's a map that we're pretty excited over, and we've got the updates on those round 3 matches, and it looks like Raspberry Racers and SR Peak Check are locked in a pretty intense duel right now, so we might have a bit of time between our current round 3 match and the next round 4 match.
Yes, we might have a bit of a waiting for Raspberry Racers to finish up, but that's just luck of the draw, right? Sometimes you're gonna have a free O and then you have to wait. But man, I am excited to see Raspberry Racers versus Ex Oblivione. Raspberry Racers had an incredible showing yesterday against the likes of Sheer Cold, where their tank line of Jakaro just really led the charge and was the spearhead of the team, and they prefer to play that kind of main tank compositions over the off tank compositions. So, you know, obviously Chase mentioned that, Vistola being the off tank player. I'm curious to see if Oblivione bring Chase in then against Raspberry Racers, or if they're just going to play into that Diva to try and counteract what the Winston does.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see. And like we've been talking about, for Raspberry Racers, they are a bit of a new team. They had a lot of turnover after the spring series. Only Yoko and Gustav still on that roster who were there for the spring series. So you have to wonder, is this new Raspberry Racer team going to be able to stand up to Ex Oblivion? Ex Oblivione, excuse me. Because I mean, for Raspberry Racers, we talked about this beforehand, but For Raspberry Racers, Ex Oblivione has been the equivalent of death for them. They have had 10 games against them in their entire history, and it has been 7 games since their last win. And that was in Contender Season 2, July 14th, 2021. 727 days ago. They have struggled a lot against this team, but maybe this new roster might be the one to break the streak of bad luck.
That will be the story in the next matchup, so don't go anywhere, folks. It might be an even tighter game up next after this break. Don't go anywhere.